Hey, what is up mortals? Tim here. And before we get into today's video, there is something I'd like to say. I'd like to let you all know that we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time. So if you're interested, go into the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Second, if this video hits 300 likes by the end of the week, we will continue this what if. Thirdly, if you didn't know, only 40% of you guys are subscribed to us. So please, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon. Now, with that out of the way, let's get back into the story. When we last left off, Izuku was midway through the UA entrance exam, where he learned the power of One for All. It had boosted his normal quirk, Technopath, way past its normal limits, taking it from only being able to turn machines on and off to being able to take full control while upgrading or merging them with other devices. As Izuku stares at the 0-point robot in shock and awe, he freezes in place as it begins rampaging through the mock city. At first, he tries to take full control of the war machine, but couldn't due to the size of it, the controls of it being in the head. With the 0-pointer continuing to demolish the city around them, Izuku and his robot hightail it out of there with the sounds of destruction following them. As buildings crumble around him, he's forced to stop and look around for another route out of there. When looking behind him, all the sounds drown out, except for one. A girl crying for help. Trapped under some rubble was the very same girl that stopped Deku from falling before the written exam had started. A strange feeling overcomes Izuku. It was just like the one that took him over when Bakugo was being attacked by the sludge villain. With Deku's villain bot deconstructing and then reconstructing around him, it forms a makeshift skeleton. It only covers both his legs, with most of the bulk being added to the massive arm attachment that was easily double the size of him. With the power of One for All flowing through his legs and arm, while overflowing into his machines, Izuku boosts into the air, leaving a massive blast of air in his wake. Then his enormous exoskeletal arm boosts him even more along to the 0 point until he eventually gets near its chest. All while screaming "Smash!" Izuku slams his oversized fist into the hulking chest of the robot, sending the robot crashing down. The recoil from the smash sends Izuku further back into the air, giving him the perfect time to marvel at his achievement. Then, fear starts setting in as he realizes that every part of his exosuit was rendered useless by the power he just used. The machine taking the backlash of One for All, instead of Izuku leaving it as a burnt husk around his limbs. Now, you may be wondering how Izuku knew to create an exosuit around him to shield his limbs from the crippling power of One for All. Well, the truth is, he didn't. It was like his body had a primal self-defense mechanism when it came to One for All, creating any machine possible to at least take any bit of the backlash. As Izuku starts falling at a rapid pace, he begins screaming for his life before the girl he just saved slaps him on the face, using her gravity quirk to stop him mid-air. As the girl releases her quirk and the both of them lightly hit the ground, Izuku just stares up in the air with the amazement coming back to him. Later on, during the night of the exam, Deku would meet up with All Might on the beach he had previously cleaned. "Young Midoriya, I didn't think you'd be able to use 100% like that," a deflated All Might proudly announced while picking up trash from around the beach. But Izuku knew differently, explaining that if his body didn't create the suit on instinct, it would have destroyed his limbs. But that's when he gets a stroke of genius. "Wait, I got it! I built this thing out of scraps and instinct! Maybe if I planned it, I could build a proper suit to help me handle 100%! Deku starts muttering to himself as he whips out his hero notes and jotting down some ideas. All Might just chuckles, before saying that he should probably worry about finding his usable limit. But Deku was in a world of his own while he was writing in his notes, not hearing a thing All Might said. Being curious, All Might takes a quick peek to see what Deku was writing, being amazed when he sees in-depth sketches, part listings, and functionality of each robot used in the test. With his eyes glowing a distinct neon blue, Izuku keeps writing in his notes, his brain like a supercomputer recalling all the specs of the machines it had interfaced with before. With that idea embedded into Izuku's head, he would spend his free time coming up with ways to make armor to let him use 100% without any restrictions while waiting for the results to come back on the exam. During his time researching, he would find out a lot about One for All and his upgraded quirk, like how he can control the range of his base quirk, leading him to be able to control the power output of One for All, his limit being the same as it would be in the anime, 4 to 5%. But with that knowledge, Izuku could start properly working on designs for support items that would let him reach higher percentages. As a quick side note, he doesn't quite learn the ability to spread One for All throughout his body just yet, instead learning 2 new skills. One for All Full Control. The premise of this ability is simple. Izuku had basically learned how much his Technopath quirk had been upgraded, and how he could properly use it to control machines. The other way is then One for All Overflow. This lets the energy of One for All flow through him and into any machine he's currently touching. Before we get back into the story, I would like to say that we've got a second channel called Anime Deep Dive. Anime Deep Dive goes over the hard facts of the anime presented. Now, in case you guys didn't know, we also have a third channel called Anime Theory. Anime Theory mainly focuses on a large variety of mind-boggling anime theories. If you are interested in content like this, please go check the description below or click the eye icon in the top right corner. Now, with that out of the way, let's get back into the story. Now we move on to the day Izuku gets his results. He would just be sitting in his room sketching designs of his hero armor when his mother knocks on the door slowly. Deku had become rather quiet recently, whether it was due to finding out his quirk was basically a dud before getting One for All, or him trying to come to terms with his head now being a supercomputer is unknown. This sudden mood change became evident to Inko. As Izuku opens the door, his mother stands outside it with a hopeful smile while also holding an envelope. Giving back a slight smile, Izuku takes the envelope, staring at the UA logo embossed on the seal. The next few scenes play out the same. Izuku opens it in his room and is greeted by the acceptance message from All Might. With that out of the way, Izuku compiles all his suit design notes and sends them to the UA Sports Company with the aid of All Might. More on that will be revealed later. Moving forward to Deku's first day of school, almost immediately after walking into class, Ida charges up to Izuku, exclaiming his name and praising him for noticing there was more to the exam than anyone else had seen. Being even more socially awkward than usual, Izuku just stands with his mouth wide open. With Ida continuing to ramble on with praises for Izuku, he'd eventually get to meet Uraraka and his homeroom teacher, Aizawa. Now, moving on to the quirk apprehension test. There are 2 changes straight away. One being that Aizawa had an extra duffel bag with him that he brought outside with him, the next being a change to his speech. Instead of calling it Bakugo, he calls it Midoriya, since he now has the highest score. Bakugo starts yelling at Aizawa, and Izuku in shock. "How the hell did an extra like that get the highest points?" His voice seeped in a newfound rage. Though Bakugo didn't hate Izuku as much due to him having a quirk, this did irritate him. The next couple of moments were about to set him off. Aizawa tosses the duffel bag to Izuku's feet, explaining that inside it was a piece of his hero costume, and he wants Izuku to use it for this example. With childlike excitement, Izuku pulls out the right arm of a robust-looking exosuit. The arm was bulky, but yet extraordinarily high-tech. It had a white color scheme with a green streak going straight down it. "I have no clue how you're supposed to power that thing. Your designs didn't include a power source," Aizawa mumbles, not really caring as he takes out his phone and gets ready to track the softball throw. As Izuku dons his exo arm, he mutters to himself, "Alright, One for All, overflow, 20%. Then, with the power flowing through his arm and into the machine, it springs to life with a steam shooting off of it for a few seconds. The class watches in amazement as Izuku lifts the arm effortlessly and takes the softball from his teacher. Bakugo is beginning to foam from the mouth from pure anger. As Izuku throws the ball, it quickly reaches about 700 meters. All Might watches from a distance, entirely astonished by the exosuit, and by Izuku, knowing that was far from his full capabilities. Deku looks at his arm with pride, it being completely fine and not even having a scratch on his armor. Sadly, Aizawa then takes away the support item, while knowing Izuku also has some sort of super strength enhancing quirk, being listed as superpower on his file. His reasoning on giving Izuku an item was to show the rest of the class they need to show 100% of their abilities, at least if they don't want to get expelled. So Izuku is forced to rely on One for All for about 5% for the subsequent events. This would sadly put him in a catch-up with the other students, since he only uses his power in one spot at a time, or sometimes 2. If he had his exosuit, he'd be able to spread it among that equally, since it counted as one item altogether. During one of the events, Bakugo tries numerous times to get Izuku to explain his sudden super strength and enhanced Technopath quirk, almost starting a fight with him before being restrained by Aizawa. As the events came to an end, Izuku would still do rather well in it, getting to 7th place and pushing Ojiro down to 8th. Well, you guys all know what that means. No more Mineta in this What If. The day comes to an end with Aizawa dismissing his class early, and Izuku walking out with Ida and Uraraka, only this time, Izuku would be comfortable talking to both of them. Moving to the next day, it progresses about the same way as the canon, the only difference being Izuku excels at his academic class due to his brain being rewired to be more like a computer. Things only start majorly changing when we get to hero training. With the students drawing their own hero costumes, they meet All Might in the middle of the vast training ground beta. Izuku's full hero costume was a robust combat exoskeleton that made him as tall as Ida. The suit had a base color of white with green streaking down the main parts, and a green undersuit is visible through the joints of the armor. The helmet covers all of Izuku's face and comes with a built-in rebreather like his regular costume. The armor comes with a whole arsenal of abilities that work in tandem with his Technopath quirk, but its primary function is to let him use One for All at its fullest capabilities. Izuku moves into the training ground while testing the armor's motors, letting One for All flow through his legs and into the armor at about 8%. As stated before, Izuku can only spread One for All to 1 or 2 parts at a time, though when his pieces are connected, he can spread it all around the suit. Once again, playing out similar to in canon, Izuku was paired up with Uraraka for a hero versus villains training scenario, having to disarm a bomb being protected by villains, this case being Bakugo and Ida. As the villains go to inspect and fortify the bomb room, Bakugo snarls at Ida.
You, Four Eyes, you're friends with Deku. Tell me how we upgraded his dud of a quirk so fast.
This catches Ida off guard, him thinking that this wasn't the time for a question like that. I haven't known Midoriya for long, but I assumed his quirk was always like that. By the way he uses it, he has a strong grasp of its potential. He explains, only furthering Bakugo's rage and creating much more hatred for Izuku. Outside the building, Midoriya stares at it while strategizing. I've got into the camera system, the bomb on the middle level at the very back of the building. It appears only Ida is protecting. Kacchan is probably searching for us already. He's searching for me. Izuku mutters to Uraraka, her being impressed by his quick thinking to hack the system. But Deku doesn't even acknowledge the praise as he coldly explains, stealth isn't an option, but now with me wearing this suit, I need you to go in from the back while I handle Kacchan. He explains with all his emotion fading away, being replaced with pure determination. Thank you all for watching the video to the end. Now, there's a few more things I need to get out of the way before the video ends. On behalf of We the Celestials, I want to thank the writer for this video, as well as the editor for this video. Their details will be in the description below. If you're a voice actor, editor, or writer, or you're interested in becoming one of those, go to the Discord that is in the description of this video, and hit up the head of one of those areas. We're always looking for members to join us. That's it from us for today's video, so thank you all for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're interested, and I'll hit that like button if you like the video. Until next time, peace out mortals, have an amazing day!
Eyes in the sky.